What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Joe, can you hear me?
Yes,
Oh, I still can't hear you. Oh, I muted my computer. Okay, talk now.
go ahead.
Oh, perfect. All right. How's my audio sound? Are we
It's
good?
great. How's mine?
Welcome, everybody, to the first. This should be running on both of our channels. I haven't checked, but
Yes, it's running on yours. I haven't checked mine yet.
so we are streaming on two different channels right now. Um, It's been a while since I personally live streamed, but Joe's been doing it a bit more often, and I joined last week. But today, as you guys can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about the Twitter acquisition, what it means for crypto, and potential in the future. There's a lot to unravel there. And as we're going along, if you guys have any topics you want us to discuss, put them in the live chat below, either on Joe's or my stream, whichever one you guys are watching on, and it should all show up in this beautiful StreamYard platform so we can see them, we can go over it, share our screens a little bit, talk some crypto. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you doing?
That's good. I'm beautiful. No
Still
Shave
trying to get
November.
situated here.
You doing No Shave November too?
No, absolutely not.
I have nothing else to do, so I figured why not? Why not give it a shot? All right.
Okay, so topics for tonight. We're going to talk about factors that trigger bull run. We'll also talk about Twitter acquisition and what that means for cryptocurrency, the integration with crypto, blockchain, NFTs, and we'll briefly touch on Web3 as well. And anything else you guys would like to chat about, leave us your questions or comments in the chat. Now, there are two separate live streams running. So if you're not seeing some of the comments that are being displayed on the screen, that's because they're in the stream you're not watching. So we'll display uh, both from the different streams because we can see it here in the studio. Give me one moment.
Good afternoon, Lloyd. I'm trying to pull up prices right now. So Bitcoin's at 21.3, Ethereum's at 16.5, BNB's at 354. Today there was a big old pump, which I'm very happy about. It's looking good, but the reason, some speculation as to why this might be up is because midterms are coming up, and there's always an excuse for why crypto goes up, right? It can never
Yeah.
just be
Well, I'm wondering how that correlates.
it can never just be because people enjoy crypto. It's always got to be something tied to it. What was I gonna search? I was gonna go on my YouTube channel. It's
Jan,
me.
I do not know. I haven't checked recently. Kind of not paying attention to Helium as closely lately. But
Oh,
yeah,
I'm not talking
appreciate
about
all
Helium.
being on tonight. Just do a real quick roll call. MC, Duff, Jan Finn, Lloyd Christmas, kids just being kids. Appreciate you joining us. And MC, Semper Fi to you as well.
Who is kids just being kids? Is that your friend?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah. So where do you want to start with this? What causes an actual bull run?
I think we should get into the juicy stuff
What's
with
that?
with Twitter, the Twitter acquisition going on. Like it's ongoing as we're making this. So the stuff we're covering in this live stream is probably not going to be completely up to date in, let's say, a day or 2 days. But essentially, Elon is. He posted a picture. Let me see if I can pull this picture up on here. I don't know if you saw it, Joe, but he posted a picture with a Shiba Inu dog with a Twitter like outfit on it. Have you seen that?
I have not. If you wanted to display your screen, go ahead. I'm still
Yeah,
getting
I'm gonna get it right now.
yeah, the stuff I want to display in order.
But because of that, let's just share my screen here. Present, share screen. Nice. All right, you guys should be able to see my screen here. It all started when Elon.
You gotta add to the
Here we
screen.
go. Can you see it?
It's up now.
Okay, so on November 1st, Elon posted this. Um, literally just a dog. Well, it happens to be the Shiba Inu with the Twitter. And this was November 1st. So if we go here, beautiful CoinMarketCap. Oh, I should probably turn off notifications on Discord real quick. Dogecoin had a massive spike as soon as this was posted, which leads people to believe, or is this the first? Yeah, it went up from 12 cents to 14, almost 15 cents. Yeah, 15.5 cents. So people are thinking that Elon is now going to integrate Doge with Twitter. And Joe, I don't know if you saw the whole thing up here with the blue check marks. He's going to now require everybody to pay $8 since they've gone private. This is going to be their way to actually make money. Then they can pay creators. So in the future, we might actually be able to start posting on Twitter and be getting compensated for it. I personally have never enjoyed Twitter, but I'm excited for this.
I've actually just started using Twitter recently. So we'll go down the list of what happened with Twitter. I'm sure you guys have heard numerous of these several times. But the first was, as of today, 50% of the Helium, Twitter staff has been let go.
Yes.
Huge. Prior to that, the top executives at the company had been fired. And this was kind of expected. Elon had hinted at this coming in. As Chris said, the verification badges, the verified, the blue check mark people, that will be changing, where it's not Twitter that's going to verify you anymore. It will be based on paid subscription. And this goes to Twitter Blue. There's a feature that
they've already had
to allow you to optimize your feed to how you want it. Elon has given his strong opinion on how great that is, but this kind of overlaps where you'll still be getting Twitter Blue, as far as I can tell. However, we'll you'll have a blue check mark, and your comments will be prioritized. You'll see less ads.
Yeah, they already have Twitter Blue, but this whole thing is like now you're gonna get a check mark. It's but people are concerned that, oh no, now my check mark's not gonna mean anything. But if you're an actual public figure, like with politicians, it's much like Instagram where you have the check mark, but then when you click, it's also like it says public figure or politician, stuff like that. It's gonna be the same thing. So I don't know why people are so
and
upset
there will
about
also
that.
be another tier, which is essentially what we have now, but it's going to be public officials, verified users, celebrities, that exactly. Kind of deal.
The big deal with this though is because Elon's been known with Dogecoin and all this stuff just for talking about it briefly. There's the potential, and this is purely speculative at this point, but that Doge could actually be brought on and be used as like their primary first crypto on the Twitter platform, which would be huge, not only for Dogecoin, but I think it will Twitter's absolutely massive. Over, I don't even know how many people are on it, 100 millions of people on there. It would be huge. Why?
Yeah, and to quote Elon, Twitter's current lords and peasant system for who has or doesn't have a blue check mark is bullshit. Power to the people. Blue for $8 a month, which was in a tweet he followed on by saying price adjusted by country proportionate to purchasing power parity. Now, as far as other changes on Twitter, so there hasn't been a whole lot of discussion around the issues that we're interested in from a crypto standpoint, as there's more drama that creates more headlines, and it's really a fallout going on right now. But as far as it's been discussed, he doesn't really have a whole lot of intent on changing the implementations that were in mind for Twitter. So there's been a lot of talk in the social media space about integrating payments through cryptocurrency, as well as using NFTs on your profile, which is going to bring a huge demand in the cryptocurrency space for both payments through cryptocurrency for NFTs, which is going to bring an inflow into crypto.
They should already have that. I think that was a couple months ago they integrated that into Twitter.
Oh, I'm saying once that is integrated. So I'm saying once
Yeah, yeah,
NFTs are integrated, people are going to need to buy NFTs. So
yeah.
that will bring in an inflow. Will also create significantly more amount of transactions on the blockchain, and in turn that causes burning of the blockchain's native coin, which will lead to an increased price.
Yeah. All around good things for the crypto space. Like I couldn't think of a negative approach for this one. But all I can say is since Elon has owned Twitter, crypto has gone up. That's statistically correct.
Yes, it's all good signs. Another thing that I guess I'll point out here, and I'll share my screen if I can.
So I have to select a different window down here
No,
if you do share, or is it
no,
automatic?
it's mine. It's amateur hour tonight.
Sorry.
No, that's me. No. Anyways, one of the posts that
Do I have
were
to press
made.
add to
Well,
stream?
I should back up actually. So there was a post from the White House talking about under the Biden administration, Social Security checks have seen an increase in 8% being distributed to seniors. Well, that was fact checked by Twitter, saying that by law it's adjusted for inflation. Because it was fact checked, the White House took it down. Now, if it couldn't get funnier, what happens is there was a tweet that Elon sent out. Twitter has had a massive drop in revenue due to activist groups pressuring advertisers, even though nothing has changed with content moderation, and we did everything we could to appease the activists. Extremely messed up. They are trying to destroy free speech in America. It doesn't appear now, but it was fact checked by Twitter. And the response was, this is wrong. So, and I'm paraphrasing, but they're saying that for whatever reasons, because there's not a lot of confidence in Twitter from the advertising companies, they've suspended their advertising and purchasing those ads through Twitter. And our very own Crypto Vulgarian, another YouTuber, Alex Becker, responded to Elon. It's because Twitter has the worst ad platform of any social media company. Its targeting and ad return on investment is so terrible that it's virtually a black hole. You only have people running fluff ads on Twitter, aka no ROI ads they can turn off. Fix this and you'll get all that money back. Elon responds, agreed, working on it. And of course, the rest is just trolling with politicians and
Whole bunch of
political speak.
crypto. Ironically, it's a whole bunch of crypto ads.
Yeah, that too. And that goes to the point that there's an endless amount of bots on Twitter. So, go ahead.
I'm curious to know how much money the blue check thing is actually going to pull in. But we won't really know. I mean, you can have estimates all you want. Probably won't know until I don't know when it's being implemented either. Is it like a starting next quarter, or is it almost immediate? Because that would give us some insight if they have to report at the end of this quarter.
If I recall correctly, I think he says it's start next week, but let me look that up.
Wow. That'd be interesting. How's everyone doing tonight? We good? We having a beautiful Friday evening, relaxing. work week's over, we can just talk some crypto. Um, talk a
Now,
little bit about the
now,
bull run.
keep in mind, it seems like when one of us writes a comment through Studio, it gets sent out to everyone.
I noticed there's a button you can actually choose who you want to send it from. I just found that out after I talked for both of us. But
So Bloomberg, as of 2 days ago, says soon as Monday, they may start
oh,
selling verification badges. Duff, to answer your question, does this mean we will see being escorted out of Twitter, TikToks? I think we've already seen some, but they're pretty quick about firing. They just immediately cut it. Most people are working from home, revoked access to email and their message platform. And there was an email that was sent out, whether you got fired or whether you're staying.
yeah, they fired the entire executive team, CEO, CFO, COO, all of them gone. Brought in all of his Tesla people.
I think that's long overdue as far as the executive team is
Oh
concerned.
yeah, yeah. I agree with most of the things people are saying. I never enjoyed Twitter mostly because of the way, it, especially with fact checkers, the way they've been. It's very skewed right now. But it seems like it's starting to head in the right direction. I'm seeing a lot of people actually get pissed off. They used to love Twitter because they're like, no, now it's going to be anyone can say anything. I'm like, no, now it's going to be like an equal space where people's opinions are all valued at the same
Yeah.
level.
And people want to comment on Elon's political leanings. He seemed very centrist for the longest time, maybe somewhat of a moderate liberal, but I kind of think he's starting to skew towards the right. Either way, he has to do what is best for the business that he now owns. And I guess he feels that it's really better for humanity that this remains an open free speech platform. But in his own words, he says it's not going to become a free for all hellscape, or maybe he
Yeah,
said free speech hellscape. Either way, I agree. There should be rules. You shouldn't be able to just um, post things that violate laws, violate the rules of the platform, um, incite violence. We can discuss what's hate speech or not and what qualifies as free speech, but there's just all around a lot of indecency on Twitter and social media for that matter.
yeah,
But it's not so much what you quantify as hate speech as much as it equally enforced across the board. Are all points of view held to the same standard? And I wouldn't say so much. Now, the recent ad the recent tweet I just showed from Elon, where he said the activists are still angry, even though he's attempted to do everything that he could to appease them. So, political activists, unless you give them everything they want, they're always going to be angry. And once you give them what they want, they're going to ask for more. If you don't give them what they want, if you attempt to compromise and do what you feel is best for everyone, they just become more angry and they start boycotting, threatening, etc. That's what we're seeing now. So I think he knows that there was no satisfying these people, but he's trying to show compromise, due diligence, that he's trying to play both sides. And we've seen a lot of complaining from both the left and the right this week because, of course, the left thinks it's going to become this conservative platform where they're the ones running it now. They're going to post QAnon conspiracy theories and, um, racist, homophobic tweets, which I don't think that's going to be the case. Um, I think a lot of conservatives still don't care about Twitter, regardless of who's running it. And many of them aren't really so keen on Elon to begin with. But the right was angry with him because he did bring in some of these free speech activists who are total left wingers, who are total Democrat operatives, and he's also taking opinions from them. And because of that, of course, no one on the right trusts him, and they are critical of him. And he also posted a tweet: "When both sides are angry with you, I see this as a good thing." Either way, I think we'd all be better off without social media.
Well, how would we meet each other, Joe? Come on. Even YouTube's gotten like really bad. I mean, we could go into a rabbit hole talking about all the social media platforms. It's like they all Lloyd, they all
Lloyd's in a mood tonight.
yeah, it's like they all collectively just decided, and it seems like it was escalating, and then as soon as like COVID hit, it's like, okay, now we're just gonna start changing everything, and they
Everyone went
changed it
crazy with
all.
COVID.
Yeah, they changed everything. I mean, uh, YouTube used to be the things I used to see on YouTube was insane. There's still some videos out there that are crazy, but if you were to re-upload those videos, it would get striked, all this stuff. Um, it's I I'm hoping. I think I said this in my server, but I'm hoping that this leads more companies as Twitter is starting. I never thought I'd say this, but Twitter is actually seeming to becoming one of the more neutral platforms, which I never thought was going to happen. Hopefully, like Facebook and Instagram, it's owned by the same people. Maybe even YouTube. They're going to start to ease up a little bit and stop. It seems like they just turned into a for-profit company. Like YouTube used to be. Their slogan used to be, what, for the people, I think, something like
YouTube?
that. Yeah, I forget what YouTube's old slogan was.
Yeah, so it just comes
Broadcasters.
down to these platforms are starting to realize that their algorithms reward bad behavior. It rewards the way what drives clicks, which is typically bottom of the barrel type of or lack of intelligence.
Yeah,
And how you undo that, I'm not sure. People are going to be people regardless, but it has an amplifying effect. And when you're constantly feeding that garbage to the population, it certainly does cause mental illness, as we're seeing. It causes people to become just crazier. I can't look at the Twitter feed for too long without just saying to myself, these people are idiots. I mean, I want to respond to them, but better off to let it go, not be involved in that. But some of the stuff that I see is just so ridiculous.
Jan Finn said, "How about video website Odyssey? Have you heard of Odyssey, Joe? Have you used
I've
it
heard
before?
of it, but I have not used it, and I don't know
It's
much about it.
um, it's kind of cool. It's like a mixture of YouTube as well as like Reddit. So there's forums and stuff. And I think there's forums on it. You can like host files and stuff. It's a pretty cool platform, but it doesn't have a lot of. It's hard to break into a market that is so heavily skewed. It's like YouTube. Like that's gonna be the big one. You guys are going crazy.
Yeah, we got some trolls in the audience tonight. But another thing that you notice with social media is that it's basically made up of social chameleons. Everyone becomes one. And what do I mean by that? Well, on Twitter, everyone's arguing about politics and social justice. On Instagram, everyone's portraying their life as luxury and
My
a
life is
dream.
luxury. My life is luxury, Joe.
Yeah, Facebook or Meta, it's just a lot of rambling. I mean, there's a lot there, but Facebook has just become there's so many scams on it, and it's not user intuitive whatsoever.
I think because it's been around for so long, it's kind of become like the cesspool of the internet.
Yeah.
It's like they need to just wipe it all and restart. Oh my gosh, there's so many like that's a database. That's not even a social media platform anymore.
Oh,
That's
it
just
certainly
gone
is.
complete.
I, so, and then like you look at Reddit, and it depends on the forum that you're in, of course, but there's certain forums with the discussion, everyone's just trying to fit in. It becomes people parroting each other. That's why
Big
I really
news. Keep
try
going.
not.
Sorry. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, hope 1 million subs. We'll see.
That's only a month, 2 months left. We can do it. We can buy them.
Oh yeah,
We get a whole bunch of super chats, and we just buy some subscribers, man. Some positive news I'm just seeing on my computer over here with Meta is Matic just rallied because Meta is announcing Polygon powered NFTs. Um, so that's pretty huge. If now you have Meta, I don't know what their net worth
that's
is, but it's
excellent.
pretty high up there. I guess it's probably the number one social media platform or social media corporation because now they own Instagram and everything. Um, that's going to be huge because then, of course, if they have it on Facebook, it actually doesn't even say; it just says Meta. Um, yeah, it's going to be big to have.
Yeah, and another thing that I think is interesting to discuss is the metaverse. So, digital reality, augmented reality, and the role that will play. And I don't know if you'd actually consider that Web3 or not, but what are your hopes for the metaverse? Do you think that's going to be significant? Do you think everyday people will be involved, or will just be the typical gamers as always who are involved in that?
You're talking about like with the VR goggles and everything.
Yeah.
Uh, man, it's I think like I watch some gaming YouTubers and stuff, and just I watched these guys for years, but seeing them play in VR and struggle in VR and all this stuff, it's really entertaining for me. But personally, I don't think I would actually get into it because I know probably there's 11 people watching on both streams right now. I would bet that 5 of them get motion sickness when they put on that VR headset. Like they gotta get that whole thing down, and a lot of it is just because of how close it is with your face and all that stuff. And I don't usually get motion sickness, but with the VR headsets, it's not good. And that's a huge issue. If more than half of your audience can't even use your device because it makes them feel sick, it's going to be difficult. As well as I'm not sure how much those headsets are right now, but they just released their version 2. Um, I kind of like the fact that Facebook is moving into this direction though, because this is how crypto starts to take over. So it will start becoming more mainstream being used, and that's why like if Twitter were to have cryptocurrency payments, that's a massive step forward for crypto because you have Venmo picked it up, Robinhood picked it up, PayPal picked it up, but now you're going to have like an actual major daily used by hundreds of millions of people platform. If they pick that up, then I think it's going to be a big deal. You said 199 to 299. Yeah, that's actually really reasonable for it. But as of right now, I think we're still in like it's like with the flip phones right now, the folding glass phones. Like we're in the
Hmm.
really early beta stages. I think it could flop or it could succeed.
Yeah. Even the augmented reality. So digital reality is you put on the Oculus or whatever platform you're using, and you can be anywhere in the digital reality from your living room. But augmented reality is it's like similar to Pokemon Go. Um, Maybe
Yeah,
you're wearing glasses in the same fashion, but your landscape is based on actual physical infrastructure and what you digitally place there. And we'll certainly see that, but the technology for that is still not mature. It's not necessarily user friendly.
I watched a video yesterday. I don't know if you know who MKB HD is, but he is a tech YouTuber. That's how I kind of keep up to date with all tech. But he just did an interview, he did an interview, not an interview, but a, what do you call it, a device overview of the new Meta headset. And he said that like Facebook really doesn't have an option here because I forget what segment that another company took over. I think it might have been Google, but it was most of Facebook's revenue was through this or whatever, and now they're gonna have why Elon 2024. Now you're gonna have Facebook. It's like they're just gonna pump hundreds of millions of dollars into this, and it's going to have to work because of all the money they put in. They're going to have to make it work. Brief intro to your professional background. Is this for both of us?
I guess so.
I'm gonna go first here.
Interested as to why Jan Finn is asking, but yeah, of course. So I'm a network engineer. I work on like corporate physical infrastructure, routers, switches, firewalls, servers, wireless. Been doing that for 10 years. I don't necessarily have a formal education. I started out in Marine Corps communications. Been doing the crypto thing for 2 years, 3 years if you count, 2017, 2018. And just using what I know from tech, applying that to a lot of the crypto projects. That's how I vet them, figure out what I think the utility is worth. Just looking to make the best of this emerging space.
Nice.
And you?
Me? My professional background is I have a degree in accounting. I just got that not even last year, a couple months ago. Going for my master's right now. And I've been in the crypto space since like 2017. So it's been a long time since I've been in here. I got in like I guess it was like the second major bull run for Bitcoin. It got up to, I think, was it 20,000 or something? I started mining then too, and I've been in it ever since. But I took like a hiatus for the past couple of years. Got back into it in 2021. I found out about Helium through, I think Voscoin made a video on it, and then there was another guy, and I always forget his name. But then I decided, I was like, wow, these are making a lot of money, and all the videos on him are getting a lot of views, and there's not a lot of videos on them. So I decided to start making videos on those. Then my channel started exploding. So that was pretty cool. And then I met Joe, unfortunately. And now we're here. It's almost a year and I want to say like a month or so from when we first streamed together for the Christmas giveaway. I think it was that was the first video we did together.
Yeah.
It's crazy how I can't believe it's already been a year. And I was watching that, and the price of Helium was like $30 or $40, and we were giving away I think we gave away like 15 Helium. I don't know why we did that. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was. I need to go back and watch that. But yeah, that was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Back when what's it called? Wall Street's bets was first taking off, is when I really started to get back into crypto. Kind of realized I was late to the Wall Street's bet game, so figured next logical thing is probably crypto. The halving's coming up, and when you're right on the eve of the halving, I mean, you could buy anything, and you're going to make money off it. That's just how it works. And we'll talk about now what triggers a bull run, a bull cycle, if you want to call it that. But that's every 4 years about is when you see a massive inflow of currency, fiat currency, into the crypto sphere, and that just sends prices
to the moon.
Yeah. So we can talk about like what are the different factors that may cause that. The standard answer is the Bitcoin halving. So Bitcoin miners are always selling their mined BTC to the exchanges to cover the power costs, the electricity costs from running their miners. And when the Bitcoin halving happens, the rewards are cut in half. So you're seeing a significantly less amount of Bitcoin being dumped into to the exchanges. Supply and demand, it causes an increase in price. Now, the halving also generates a lot of talk on social media and in the news, and price increase does as well. So there's typically positive sentiment around this time, and that drives an inflow as well. And then the market pressure, but supply and demand, but the interest also causes, I believe, the exchanges to increase increase the prices. It has to do with the oracles and how it's calculated. And then you have several other factors. Is there anything you wanted to add to that, Chris?
I want to, yeah, briefly. You said that pretty much after every halving, you can put your money on anything and it would make money. Um, this wasn't the halving, but when Ethereum just switched to proof of stake, I put money on the top four competitors. I think it was so Flux, Ravencoin, Ergo, and Ethereum Classic, and I bought a pretty decent amount. I want to say, I mean, for me it was decent, but maybe like $250 of coin for each, and then with some of the coins like Flux, I already had at the time um, it was like $600, but I had 1,000 Flux, so it was gonna go up. It should be rated at like $1. I'm not sure what it's at now, but doing something like that, like just noticing those cues, like oh, this is gonna go up in value strictly because of a different event that's taking place. Like all of this hash power has to move somewhere, and it's going to eventually drive the price up of one of them, and one of them will. I mean, it's not financial advice, but in my case, I was betting on the fact that one of them would cover the cost if I lost anything on the other coins. I actually haven't looked at it right now. I'm gonna check, but
Yeah, and of course,
uh,
disclaimer: none of this is financial advice. So,
it isn't.
of course not. Yeah, be sure to consult with a professional advisor before acting on any of the information you may hear in this video. So, what I'm explaining is my opinion, what I would do, not necessarily the popular one. So, do your own research. I got two questions here in the chat. Do you
From
plan
Don.
to sub to Twitter? And how do you plan to capitalize on the blue check mark? Well, I don't think so, unless I decide to use Twitter for whatever reason. I think I have about 47 followers. Other YouTubers make fun of how tiny my Twitter is because I just don't go on it.
Yeah.
I don't see the reason I would sub to it. But what about you, Chris?
Do you use Tinder?
No.
Okay. So on Tinder, right? Um, I'm of age. I go on Tinder. The In this case, I'm looking at girls, and they have a check mark. And it's verified, and they're not popular or anything. It's just the fact that I think you have to verify your phone number and your email, and then you get this check mark. It's like, okay, you're a legitimate person, um, and it gives people more of a sense of like you're actually talking to somebody that's real, kind of thing. So when I go
Yeah.
on Twitter, I mean I don't go on Twitter. Like I really don't. I go on the explore page maybe once every other day because that's pretty much my central source for like breaking news to just try and keep up with like small things that's not important. And because I've been doing it so long, it's pretty much catered to what I'm interested in. So if there's a massive pump in Matic, like we were just talking about, it shows up on the explore page. If there's anything with any of the sports teams that I follow, it shows up. But I am like one of the most basic users on Twitter, and like currently right now, I don't have any subscriptions to anything like Spotify. Actually, I have one subscription. It's to a textbook answer website. But other than that, when I'm not during the school year, um, I don't have any subscriptions because to me, I just think it's useless spending.
Yeah.
And
But it's
I can
also like what you were saying, getting back to the point, there's so many scammers in this space. I've already been impersonated, and I know you have. But
yeah.
because I care about my YouTube channel and want to protect it, it's almost like I'm going to have to get that verification.
Eh,
And
I don't know.
I wish that the social media platforms had a way to like link verification to each other.
Well, that's why YouTube is. Oh, I know what that's actually that's nice, but then it would be one massive conglomerate, and there'd probably be a massive lawsuit or something.
They could
They
just
would
do it
find a
through the
way.
APIs.
Yeah. But YouTube just introduced that handle thing, which is going to help when people see our names posting. It'll say like verified or whatever. Um, but yeah, dude, paying extra for Twitter. I never use it. Um, I wish I had it set up. I don't know if you heard of Zapier. Any kind of automation software like that where you can actually set it up. Whenever I post a video, it'll automatically tweet. In this case, I use Pingcord and Discord now. So whenever it works in your server too, I think. Whenever we post a video, it pings everybody automatically. You don't have to do anything. That is like the only sort of interaction I ever do on Twitter because I just not a fan of the platform. Like I said, I pretty much only go on it for news and occasionally like reading people trolling, which it's pretty entertaining sometimes.
Yeah. But back to what we were talking about with the bull runs.
Sorry.
So, no problem. I like taking comments, but they get us diverted from the topic quite often. We might talk about ETH Classic if we get to ETH 2.0. But so, anyways, bull runs. So you can give, like I said, the classic answer to it is it's triggered by Bitcoin halving, but you can't really say that for certain. We know what the effects are with supply and demand there, but does that logically make sense for us to see that like 4x, 5x, 10x in prices? When you have the inflow of people into the market, that explains it. But there's other macro events that are also happening at the same time. And one of them, I do believe that within the crypto space, there is big money that does, I don't know if you want to call it game the system, but I can't find the word I'm looking for. Manipulate the system. So in foreign countries, people with wealth, I'm sure they do it in the U.S. too, but we
Us.
know a
It's
lot
us.
of it happens in China, where they'll pump and dump crypto. They
Oh
wait
yeah.
for the masses to get in after you send the price surging, and then they get out.
There's hundreds of Discord servers. I'm sure there's Telegram servers too. The amount of ads I've gotten to join them too, and I've joined a couple because man, it's probably a year ago at this point, maybe more, maybe a year and a half ago. I found out about this pump and dump stuff, and I wanted to see how it worked. And they just pick a coin, uh, and this was going on. This was huge. You saw it on Twitter, on Instagram, a lot of social media platforms. They were posting and shilling, like celebrities were shilling Dogecoin. They were shilling Shiba Inu, Safe Moon, all this stuff, and they were getting a little bit of a bag on the side of it, and they were just pumping it up. Then everyone had FOMO. They all jumped in, and then all the people that were initially in just decided to pull out, and a lot of people lost money, and a lot of people made money. But I mean, that's a major issue that people. That's the. There's always going to be a con to
Yeah.
decentralization and
Someone will always
to
hold the
anything.
bag in any sort of
Yeah,
investment.
uh, it's just something that people have to kind of just be more intelligent about, like with
Hmm.
spam calls and stuff, with Wells Fargo emails, all those phishing emails, like you won $1,000. It's just over time, I think people are going to get more aware of this kind of stuff and stay away from it. But it's difficult with coins like Dogecoin, like really mainstream coins that are in the top 10, people are going to be less skeptical and buy into it if there's a massive pump. It's also going to be more difficult to actually pump that coin now because of how big the market cap is. So you're going to have some serious whales in there.
Yeah. Now, Dogecoin is awesome because it brings people into the crypto space.
Yes.
But when they see the alternatives that have a better utility, a better purpose, then they kind of see, the substance behind cryptocurrency. They start to understand the landscape.
Yeah.
Now, when we say the bull run happens every 4 years, so you have to understand the context there. Bitcoin's been around since 2008. And then the other altcoins, I think Ethereum was launched in 2014, correct?
Let me fact check.
I don't remember the exact date.
Let me
but
Twitter fact check you.
You have to understand many other cryptocurrencies didn't come till 5, 6, 7 years later.
It was conceived in 2013, launched in 2015.
Okay, almost had it. But
it was Litecoin. I think that was 2011.
The point being is that we have a limited amount of data. We're still very early in this market, and we're looking at a cycle that appears approximately every 4 years. So how definitive this is to continue, not totally known. Maybe we're seeing the point of adoption where this phenomenon will stop occurring so often because the activity, the constant inflow really limits the peak. What else was I going to say here? But yeah, the point is we're working with a very limited amount of data, and even though everyone wants to predict this, and all the YouTube trade speculators are betting their money on it, and I'm fairly confident in it, you have to know it's not guaranteed.
Here's a question for you, Joe. Do you think we're still in the bull run?
No.
Do you think the bull run's about to start back up? I don't know. Because I've been in it when it was like the absolute slumps, and this really doesn't seem like it. I mean, there's still, to me, being in a bear market is under $1 trillion market cap total in crypto, and we're still above it. So I don't think we're in a bull market or a bear market. I think we're just kind of like dormant. Like it's really, really close. It just needs one or two events to set it off, and it's going to go back up again.
I still think we have farther to fall. And we're going to certainly see a recession. There's going to be a lot of money that's withdrawn from the crypto space as a backup fund for people. So I think we have further to go.
Polygon's going to $5.
Once again, we're also seeing a lot of different cryptocurrency projects come of age, where between people buying in, developing on the blockchain, participating in the decentralized apps, you're creating more transactions on the blockchain, burning more crypto. There's more demand. So are we going to see the lowest of the lows as before? Maybe not so much. That's why it's kind of hard to tell. But at the same time, are we going to see the highest of the highs?
Well, why do you think we're pumping right now?
I have no explanation. And I don't really, I don't follow the day-to-day trends. It's up, it's down. I look at the Bitcoin price. I look at the altcoins I'm interested in, the projects that I'm interested, and then that's it. I don't put much thought into it. I'm more betting on the long term. I'm looking for projects that have solid utility, that are a solution, that are a product, that long term, the actual purchase and usage of that utility is going to drive the price, not just speculation. So I am not so much interested from that standpoint and don't really pay attention to it. Because what's, Bitcoin goes up $50 or $500, goes down $500. What's the difference to me? I'm not a YouTuber who jumps on and yells, "There's blood in the streets" every
Yes, you
time
are.
it goes down.
Have you heard of terrarium? I feel like I've heard it. It's like I got a bad taste in my mouth. Does this have to do with Terra Luna? Because if it does, I'm nowhere involved, anywhere near this. Because Terra Luna, oh, that wasn't awful. I mean, oh, that project really pulled crypto down, man.
Manny B says we're pumping because the election.
Yes.
And that might be so, but I'm just wondering how it correlates. Like, what's actually driving it?
I would
There
say
has to be
something,
some
but it
sort
wouldn't.
of like mathematical or analytical explanation behind it.
It's magic. It's magic.
It kind of is, but there also are numbers and algorithms involved. So there has to be something more to it than.
Yeah. Terra Exchange will open in U.S., Dubai, and India, and expand to Asian markets. So it's interesting you bring it up because this is going to be, I guess, this is a brand new exchange. And I was talking about this earlier. I forget what I was talking about in comparison to, but they're trying to get into a market that is pretty much um, dominated by two organizations, Binance and Coinbase, right now. So I haven't even heard of this. I don't know how it's going to perform over time. Ran by very smart doctors. Interesting. Look at that. I feel like I might have heard about this before because those guys do look familiar. Pretty cool.
Okay, so to continue the discussion, looking at what causes a bull run. Many people, and like I was just mentioning, numbers, and there has to be a specific explanation. Many people point to the stimulus checks that were given out last year or 2 years ago during the pandemic. And the deposits into the bank accounts were similar to those of the stimulus check at that specific time. And it makes sense. It certainly does. It was during Wall Street bets. Everyone is once again losing faith in the financial system. There's increased inflation because of the printing of money. So they want a store of value. They want to invest and put it somewhere it's going to make money for them. Of course, the Bitcoin halving has happened. At that point, everyone's at home. They're looking for something to do. They're looking for a way to make up for the money that's been lost for the time that they haven't been working, trying to come up with a game plan. So that would make sense that because of the stimulus checks, that is what kicked off that bull run. Some people say that when whales dump onto exchanges, that's what triggers it. But I've never heard a solid explanation as to why that is. It brings the price down, generates interest, but how does that correlate to a spike in price? Supply and demand. You have a lot of
Yeah,
supply.
no, just
Where's the demand coming from? It's just because it's on the exchanges. Like you'll hear that, but I've not had anyone give me a coherent explanation on that.
yeah. Like just logically thinking it through, if they were to bring money onto the exchange, mostly the reasons for that is to sell it or to convert it to something. So I think it would drive the price down, but um, my brain is not firing correctly. Yeah, institutional
Mine's
investors.
not either tonight. Yeah. So talking about institutional investors. So regulation. Now, if you listen to some of the amateur hour YouTubers, they'll tell you that regulation's a bad thing and crypto is going to be regulated out of existence and the end is near, get out, or we're going to see everything come crashing down. There's not going to be a bull run because of regulation, so on and so forth. I think this is just so far out and a very unrealistic thought or expectation when you analyze the situation for what it is. So we do need regulation in this space. And a lot of times regulation can be a bad thing. It can be overbearing and hinder development and progression. But when it's the Wild West, someone needs to step in and say this can't go on. These people can be held liable for what they're doing.
Yep.
And it's like some of these dev projects, there's really no legal repercussions to a rug pull. People invest money into
Yeah.
it and they just say, "Oh, discontinued project," and that's it. That
Well,
that gives crypto the space of black eye overall. Go ahead.
um, I've seen it happen recently with massive rug pull scandals, is where these people are really the people that invested are not good people, and especially in the crypto space, you have a lot of anonymity,
Yeah.
but they finding out where these people live, like the people that rug pulled, and they're releasing all this information. They're getting in trouble with the authorities, and this is all done by anonymous people because they're upset because they lost their money. So if they can do that and people are okay with that, then I think I'm for certain regulation in the crypto space because I mean some of it is crazy. Every time China an article comes out with China doing some sort of regulation, the market tanks every single time because people are just reading the headlines, and they know that now. They have to know that by now. The people that are making
So
these
I
articles.
should rephrase um, what I said there. So there are legal ramifications, but not legislated legislated from the point of cryptocurrency. You can qualify it as fraud under existing law,
Yeah.
but that leads me to my next point. And OTA, there were no call-ins. Um, so the point being is we talk about institutional money, the big money coming in and creating another pump. What is preventing this is lack of regulation because the law, in a sense, is following the big money to see what it does. And these people who want to make massive investments, they want to know that their money is safe. So with impending regulation, like we know regulation is coming. If they were to invest in specific projects now, their their investment might be tanked by nuances of that regulation because it may end up prohibiting whatever utility that project has, whatever type of, I don't know, we don't really know what is going to be considered against the law or not, but certain apps that people have created for trading, like Tornado, things like that, you don't know if there's going to be a crackdown on that or whatever the regulation is might hinder what you're trying to achieve is a underlying point here. So once there is that regulation, now the institutions have a legal framework to follow within, which really mitigates their risk of losing money. They know that they're within the law and their practice, and it's more of a safe bet. And of course, the first wave of regulation tends to be the most harsh. After that, you kind of understand where the government stands and the overall sentiment. Now it could change dramatically, but typically it won't. And some people think it's just going to be legislated out of existence. I don't think so. Governments would
Nah.
love to do it. I am sure that they would love to do it because it
Oh, yeah.
threatens the financial system. It One of the more legitimate arguments is that cryptocurrency can be used to launder money and fund terrorism, which I am totally against.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot of these other ones are just total BS arguments that the government has made, and they understand that, like with Bitcoin and with its existence, its being where it's censorship resistant, you can't get rid of it. You can't really stop people from trading cryptocurrency in the same way you can't stop them from doing illegal things on the internet. They're going to do them. You can watch them do it and prosecute them, but you really can't stop them during that action, and they can hide it for a quite significant time. So why not regulate it and tax it? And then the other reason I say this is because the sentiment of crypto overall has been trending upward. I just read a poll that showed that 51% of Republicans favor crypto, 59% of Democrats favor crypto. They have an overall positive outlook. The rest are undecided or are against crypto. So that being said, even though it's not really like you'd call it kitchen table issue, it still is supported by the majority of both voter bases. It's still related to finance, which is something people tend to pay attention to more. It's not something you really want to be on the wrong side of, regardless. And you don't want to stifle financial innovation for your country, at least you'd think. It depends on how much of a conspiracy theorist you want to be. And I'll wear that title proudly. Either way, I think the point stands. So I think regulation will be a good thing. It's going to bring in not only financial institutions buying the digital currencies, but also funding of more blockchain and crypto based projects in the space, which will further increase usage and adoption.
Uh, I saw Maddie B's comment. Wonder what Elon will do with it. Joe, would you be interested in doing some calls at the end of this? Like call in or
Yeah, I
okay,
can't stay on too long, but
that's
certainly
fine. Uh,
we got to
we
cut it at 10 for sure, or 11, just within a half
11, so like
hour.
30 minutes. Okay, okay, that works. The one thing I just wanted to mention with Maddie B, so wonder what Elon will do with Doge. With Doge, Joe, I don't know if you know about X.com. It's pretty much Elon's like life goal. It seems. It's kind of he
Oh,
wants to make it an all-in-one platform, all-in-one life platform. So that's the reason why he mentioned it in one of his tweets. Twitter is like a stepping stone in that direction because he wants to make it a social media platform that'll connect with everything, just kind of make everything all connected, like smart homes, but smart life pretty much. And I think, as for Doge, I think, and this is just my opinion, but I don't think I think he likes Doge as a coin, but I feel like he's the type of guy that's probably going to end up building out his own cryptocurrency because it just makes more sense and he can build it exactly how he wants it to be. With the capital that he has, it's a no-brainer for him. Um,
yeah, very, very possible.
yeah.
Max, thanks for joining us.
Yes, Max. Thank you. Would you like to take calls now?
Sure, if anyone would like to call in, we can provide a link.
I don't know how to do that. Um, is it? Do I press invite?
Yeah,
Invite. Send
you
this
can
link
just
to your
paste it in the
guest.
comments.
Okay. Let's. Can I paste it on both of our destinations here?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So join that. If you guys would like to do a little call in, chit
Now, if
chat a
we
little bit.
get someone that we don't know, we're I believe there's a way to stop their camera so we don't have the issue that we had this previous time, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to make sure that it doesn't happen.
That was so funny. Joe, that was you kicked me off a stream because I couldn't stop laughing. How many Doge for Twitter verification? Well, it's gonna be $8, so
I kicked you off the stream because you kept talking about screenshotting it and you're being a jerk off. You had to go play Modern Warfare or whatever.
Modern Warfare 2. Oh wait, no, I don't think it was out when I was your last call. But however, I don't know. Let's see how many Doge is $8. Someone's probably gonna find it quicker than me, unfortunately. Dogecoin.
Max voltage, what are you mining? What are we doing in the
Doge.
GPU space?
I'm mining Flux right now. It's not profitable, I don't think, anymore. Let me check. But Bitcoin price target short term 25K? Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, I think we might see it. Bitcoin hit 18,000 before we see 25,000.
Although we're climbing up there today, but yeah, it's just another day in the books. We're at 21.3 right now. Ethereum is much more fluctual. Yeah, it fluctuates a lot more than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a lot steady. 12 to 16K, then sideways for 8 months.
Now, do you
Well,
want
that
to
is
talk
your
about the
opinion.
Ethereum merge briefly?
I made a video on the Ethereum merge, talking about all of the various.
Yeah, so the merge, so it moved, of course, from proof of work to proof of stake. We're going to bring Max in here in one moment, but real quick, it didn't do anything to help gas fees, help transaction time. What it did was lay the groundwork to bring in solutions that will
Yeah,
prevent the issues that they're having as far as.
there's an
Go ahead.
update. There's another. I forget what you called the Ethereum update that they just had, but there's another one happening in 2023, and that one is supposed to settle the issues with all the gas fees and stuff.
All right, I'm going to
I wanted
bring
to make
Max
sure.
in.
I'm sure Max knows the name.
Shanghai.
Yeah,
Thanks
there
for
it is.
joining us.
I knew it.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Don't have to work tomorrow, which is a nice change. That's always good.
Yes, it's the weekend, man.
Yeah.
You got a fan. MC says, dude, awesome. Max Volches is calling in.
Hey, MC, how you doing?
It's nice to see MC back in the space.
So you were asking me what I was mining. I know mining Helium will get mad at me, but I'm mining Flux. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I
didn't
like
say
Flux.
I'm mining Meowcoin and Frogcoin. Okay, there we go.
I've heard of Meowcoin. What's the deal with Frogcoin?
No, the joke is you try to get everybody else to mine something else so you don't increase the hash rate of what you're actually mining.
Okay. I thought they were being serious about Meowcoin.
Well, it's I'm not sure. I'm not sold. Let's just put it that way. It's a coin that's done to raise funds for cats, which raising funds for anything, in my opinion, through crypto is just not the right vehicle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's I always look at coins for use case. Certainly smart contracts is an obvious one. Flux has a lot of use cases in their coin. I mean, Helium we talked about. I mean, Helium has a use case. Maybe not used by enough people, but
yeah,
but it still has a use case. But I look for those things in coins to really see whether or not they're believable. I mean, like Shiba and some of these other ones, I'm kind of like, no, not into those. So that's just kind of my criteria for picking a coin.
Real quick, so LA Crypto says, what do you mean gas fees significantly dropped? So that wasn't based on based on ETH 2.0 or any changes that were made there, you're not really changing like throughput, I guess. Man, I'm at a loss for words tonight, but they didn't really make the network optimized. They haven't put in the solutions for it. There is just a move to validators.
Yeah, they didn't increase capacity at all.
We just have less transactions happening at this time, so gas fees have gone down. There's less congestion in the network, but we should see even further dropping of gas fees.
Well, there is actually some question about exactly what's going to be in Shanghai. Not sure sharding, which is what people are thinking is going to be in the next one, will necessarily be in Shanghai. They're not even sure if being able to cash out is going to be in Shanghai yet. It's still a goal, but it isn't for sure yet.
Are all the people that staked the Ethereum that still locked up right now, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's oof. And this could be another instance where the merge takes another 6 years to happen. So these people might have their money locked up for.
Well, they're actually talking about that even if they do make this happen with Shanghai, that they will only allow people to pull out a certain percentage, so that there isn't some mass exodus. Because think about it, you pull out all this money, and now you have nobody there to basically stake your validators. You don't have a network anymore. So they want to have a controlled exit. They want to control it. I mean, think of what happened to Ergo with the merge. All of a sudden, there's this huge change that nobody really anticipated exactly what was going to happen, and Ergo really suffered from that. Same thing with Ethereum. If they do this huge change of making everybody that can cash out whenever they want now, I think they want a controlled exodus, I guess, and make people believers even after you can pull the money out, make people want to stay. So we'll see. It's interesting, no question.
It's exactly how Helium is with their trying to unstake the validators. You have to wait 6 months.
Yeah, you mentioned something last week about there's a specific date when people will be able to pull out.
Yeah, I forget the date. Is it in December?
I think we're about a month and a week away from it.
And I believe it's going to be a massive offload of Helium. No doubt about it.
I think so. They say that they're going to do transitions to their new staking system. Who knows? I'm not sure. I believe it, but we'll see. The majority of the validators are staked by one company. So we'll see what their plans are. It really comes down to, do their customers choose to get their Helium back or not? And that will decide what that company chooses to do as far as staking. And they have different options within the different tiers in the system.
I would be interested to know if exchanges like Binance pull another Binance where they accidentally pause transactions because they get a massive influx. So that would be interesting. I guess you could call that regulation. And I wonder who's pushing for that, or if it's just Binance or these exchanges not being able to handle the amount. And it'd be interesting, like you said, with the Ethereum, if they're only going to be able to pull out a certain percentage, are they going to do a similar thing? Coinbase, Binance, are they going to restrict transactions even on top of the Ethereum Foundation restricting it? So we'll never know.
And
Max, we'll eventually know.
Yeah. Give us a comment on how you feel that, I think it was 40% of Ethereum validators are hosted on Amazon Web Services.
Well, so I know a lot of people have talked about, well, look at what happened with what was the one started with an H. It was based in Germany, where they said, we don't want to have anything to do with crypto. So anybody that's hosting a node better get off our network. And they were hosting 18% at that point. And so then people went, oh, well, what the heck's going to happen if who's the largest player in town? AWS decides they're going to pull people off the network. But it's a little bit different in the fact that they have stated they have programs in place that actually support crypto projects. So they've openly stated that they're okay with supporting crypto projects. While Hetzner, I think was the name of the company, that they basically had always said, but they just highlighted it once they realized that they had all these nodes on their network. So it certainly means they're not decentralized. Let's put it that way. But as far as being a threat to just going offline, there's not much of a threat. Where there is a threat, and this recently had come up, was the censorship of transactions. So yes, the fact that so many people are running on an American company that is probably going to have to, if they aren't already, or is going to have to at one point enforce the laws that have put into place restricting Tornado Cash transactions. It's going to be real interesting because, you know, Ethereum Foundation is threatened. I shouldn't say foundation. The people of Ethereum, let's just put it that way, have threatened social slashing. So basically saying if anybody who censors the network will be able to be slashed, have their Ethereum slashed. And
I would agree with that.
Well, whether or not you agree with it or not, but here's the thing: you're basically, the rules are changing, laws changed, and now people are saying I have to decide whether or not I'm going to follow the law or I'm going to follow Ethereum and worry about what might happen to me. All at the same time, no ability to pull my money out to say, hey, I don't want to play this game anymore because I don't want to take sides. So people are really stuck between a rock and a hard place with, you know, what do you decide? Am I going to lose my money or am I going to follow the law? And if I don't follow the law, what are the repercussions? I know I certainly don't want to be in that position, and I would just be like, I'm out. I'm not going to play that game. If I'm a validator or have the ability to be a validator, I'm not going to play that game. It's not a risk I'm willing to take. Well, now, the other thing that's interesting is this specific instance that has been stated here. There's other mixers out there. In fact, there's a mixer that runs on Ergo. And so there haven't been any stances taken on that yet, but there's other options other than Tornado Cash at this point.
Yeah, the two issues I see from Ethereum that are immediately present, because like you alluded to this, everything's hosted on Amazon Web Services in the United States locations. We've heard rumblings about the government saying they have jurisdiction. Securities Exchange Commission has jurisdiction over Ethereum now. Also kind of defeats the purpose of a decentralized network when we've been complaining about the competitors selling our data and screwing us for years. Now we're going to use their infrastructure. I understand that, you know, there's a lot less overhead. It's a lot more convenient. And Amazon Web Services infrastructure is typically very reliable. But there is always a risk with any major network with that many interconnections and that much complication. There's always a risk of a massive outage. Even with how BGP, how the internet, it connects, basically like how ISPs advertise their blocks of subnets to each other, and how DNS is so complicated. We see those outages all the time. So is it possible that we see a massive outage that has an unknown effect on Ethereum?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna laugh that when it happens.
If they are able to get it down to 25%, then I think they'll be fine. So I think they've mentioned that they need like somewhere around 3/4 of their validators to be up and processing at any given time. Because they run into issues here and there when certain validators haven't upgraded their software, and so they have that issue. But yeah, I think if they get it down to 25%, then they'll be fine. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I feel like Ethereum is like the great experiment. It's one thing, Solana. You have all these other lesser, I don't want to say lesser known, but smaller as far as the amount of transactions and the importance to crypto. Ethereum, it's still a huge change to go to proof of stake. And great, what's going to happen when inevitably things come back and gas prices go up and transactions go like gangbusters, and then AWS goes down.
I
We'll
miss
see.
my GPU revenue from Ethereum so much. Those are the days.
Well, you guys are both in Illinois, right?
I am.
I'm
He's
in
not.
New Jersey right now.
Oh, you're New Jersey? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm able to mine profitably about 7 hours a day.
How many GPUs?
Right now I have 28 running. I'm gonna get another 6 running this weekend.
Wow, got a busy weekend.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, these are 6 that I've already had running in the past. It was just that they were AMD, and there's been some improvements to the miners for AMD.
Yep.
And I was really just so in order to have me run the way I want to have it run, I want everything to run automatic. So I have Hive OS shut off at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I do it through the wake alarm. I set the number of seconds until 11 p.m. So it automatically turns on at 11 p.m., automatically shuts off at 6 a.m. And during that period of time, my power is usually less than 4 cents.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, outside of that, yeah, it goes up. No question. It goes up, 6, 7, 8, 9 right this time of year. And there'll be times where I'll have to shut off because in the winter, when it gets to be like 20 below out at night, the power prices will spike tremendously. So I'm sure there'll be a good portion of time I'll have to shut off this winter. But for right now, it's a beautiful thing, being that it's nice outside, somewhere between 50 and 70 degrees. Nobody's running their air conditioner. Nobody's running their heater. There's just not a great demand for power right now. So yeah, it's pretty nice right now. But anyway, yeah, that's what I got planned ahead of me this weekend, installing a ZSX board that Chump Change was nice enough to send to me, and use a server power supply I already had so that I can use it, because you need the ATX signal. You can't do it like using a RevTech board, and that's what I had these hooked up to before.
Yeah. I really love Hive OS with all their automation stuff. I have it automatically reset if the hash rate falls below a little bit, which is that's lifesaver.
Oh yeah.
When I found out about that, because I started off on mining on Windows, and it randomly crashed. I'm like, what's going on? Now I can just set it all automated, but I downsized a lot. I had 12 GPUs. Now I have 3 that are mining, and I think I have 6 total. But free electricity, so not complaining.
Oh, there you go.
Plugged up right next to me. It's keeping my feet warm. Yep.
I got one right below me, and then one of my wife's computer mining away, and I turned one rig on downstairs. It's my most efficient rig. Prices hadn't completely fallen, but I was kind of itching to turn them on, so I turned one on downstairs.
619 OTA just said that he has, I think me and Joe are pressing it at the same time. 35 to 45% per kilowatt hour. That is that sucks.
Well, my cheap power will definitely go up a bit, probably by about 4 cents in June. There is a law that passed that allowed ComEd to raise their rates, and long story short, it also had to do with making sure that nuclear power facilities could stay online. But the catch in it was, if the power prices were higher than what was expected, they had to pay rebates back to the consumer. So right now, like, my bill was $150 this month, and that was for like 2,000 kilowatts. And it was, I don't know, like $88 credit or something, carbon neutral, something or another. Have you seen that on your bills?
I don't get that. But
Joe, have you seen that?
I haven't paid attention.
Yeah, take a look at your ComEd bill. It's pretty interesting right now.
He doesn't read his rates; he just signs it.
Yeah, kind of.
So anyway, but yeah, come June, it'll be a different story. But hey, hopefully crypto will be higher at that point, and our profitability will be higher at that point.
I just want Flux to go back up, because I have a lot of Flux.
I have a decent amount of flux. I wouldn't say a lot. I know a lot of people that have a lot more flux than me. You probably included. But yeah, my flux has been going up. I'm actually going to spring up my 4th node this coming week. I ordered
I gotta do that.
another basically like medium form factor computer, old office computer.
Yeah.
So I bought it for $75 or something. It's an i5 6500, something like that.
The minis, the Dell minis, or
no, this one's HP.
Okay.
I bought one a couple weeks ago to start one, and now I'm starting another one, and it ran great. And the guy who was selling them still had some left, and he lowered the price. My first one was like $90. This one was like $75.
I need one of those. I bought one because I was like following the spec sheet. This is like Chump Change just made a video on flux nodes. I thought I had it all specced out. I bought it, and I think the RAM was too old or something. It just was not working.
Like DDR3 probably, I'm guessing.
Yeah. But I ended up using that as my computer at school because I'm at school right now for like the past couple months, and it was ridiculous. Every time I tried to screen share or record, it would just crash. So I just took one of my GPUs off my rig because they weren't making any money anymore, threw it into a computer, and now we're good. But I gotta get a flux node up and running because I've had that 1,000 flux for like 4 or 5 months now, and I still haven't set up the node. And
it's cool. I mean, it's like it takes like 15 days to get a payout, but I mean the return on it's still like between 20 and 25%.
Yeah, it's solid.
It's still good return, and yeah, I'm good with it. Actually, Mining King just did a video. He actually upgraded to Nimbus, and he made a good point. You know, it's more profitable to run 12 Cumulus nodes if you can. Really, you can really only run 8. Because most people only have one IP address at their house, so you can only run 8. But he said he really made a good point is that Nimbus, you get a payout every 3 days. And so instead of getting a payout every 15, which means if your Nimbus node goes down, then you only have to wait like another 3 days to get your payout. So you're not like, you could be like 2 days away from your payout with your Cumulus node, and it goes down and it misses the maintenance window, and you're right back to the end of the line, and you missed, one of your 2 payouts for the month. So yeah, definitely. I've been lucky, knock on Formica, that my nodes have been up and running. I did have an issue about a week and a half ago, but I knew what was going on at the time. I got everything back up and running within the maintenance window, so I didn't get shoved to the back of the line.
Nice. Yeah, maybe I'll pick that back up again. That's one of those projects I really enjoy, but it frustrated me so much when I couldn't get it to work. I spent the entire weekend, like a solid, I want to say 20 hours, just reinstalling Ubuntu 20.04 server, and it was not working. I kept getting the error in the Flux dashboard as I just gave up. Maybe I'll buy the right parts.
One that's been frustrated by it. Well, if you want to run through it, I'd be happy to help you with it.
That'd be great.
No
I got to start off with the right hardware first,
right?
and then it'll work.
I'm on my 4th one. The last one I just did went like really quick. Now I've kind of got it down.
That's good.
And I know where the catches are. You just got to make sure you do it right. Now the other part of it is you got to make sure you have a good router.
Yeah,
using an ISP router, not gonna cut it in most cases.
Yeah, I got I forget what the brand is, Tel-Link or something. I don't know. It's
TP-Link?
Yeah.
That's what I have. So yeah, you should be good.
It's like a gigabit per second or something insane.
Oh, so yeah, you got a top tier one. You might even have the same one I have, or something very similar.
All the antennas.
Oh yeah. That's I have the one that looks like a crab if you turn it upside down.
Exactly.
What's going on over there, Joe?
Not a whole lot. Yeah. Just listening.
No, I saw you moving around and it was just.
Oh, my back's starting to hurt.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why I usually do these standing. But yeah, when's the next live stream, Chris? Are we going to do this every Friday night? Or are you going to join me Sunday night?
Sunday nights actually work better for me. because I usually drive back to school in the following morning, so I can do it pretty late Sundays. Fridays, I'm at college, so it's Friday. Things happen on Fridays.
Really?
Yeah, but no, I stayed in tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be streaming every Sunday night. For those of you who don't know Max, he does a live stream every Monday night at 8 Central.
Correct.
So I'm usually in those as well.
Yeah, I've joined a couple times. I haven't gotten the notifications in weeks for your thing. YouTube is
Yeah,
acting
that
up.
happens. Now there was 1 week I had been really consistent, but I got pretty sick in October. So there was one Monday where I just basically didn't have a voice, and it's like, okay, well, I don't feel good, and I've been home from work all day, and I don't really have much of a voice, so guess it's not happening. So, but other than that, every Monday.
That's cool.
I may be doing a live stream with another YouTuber here joining for a debate about Twitter. So we'll see if that happens. We just had an exchange on Twitter. Friendly.
That'd be great.
Going back and
That
forth.
would be interesting.
Yeah. We'll see.
I also forgot I have classes during the week. Kind of brushed over that a little bit. Yeah, so Friday's like my only night that I don't have classes, besides Saturday, Sunday. So
Yeah, and I have weeks that I travel and don't get back till late Friday night. So I wouldn't be able to do it every week, but whenever we can, certainly I'm up for live streams. I don't know if we're going to be doing 2-hour ones every time though.
No, maybe you keep it to like an hour. But we had a great guest, so
Yeah.
Thanks. Or did you have another guest? You were speaking of another guest before me because I tuned in like.
No, we didn't have anyone else calling.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's busy tonight. It's the thing about Friday nights.
Yeah, there's got to be an optimal night. Optimal. Maybe
I
Wednesdays.
mean, Sunday night's pretty clear actually. There aren't really too many people streaming on Sunday nights. There used to be Red Fox, but he hasn't been doing Sunday nights, so I think it's relatively clear. It's a good night.
Take the throne, Joe.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. One of the reasons I chose it.
I saw right before we went live tonight, DJ Mines was like, "We're live." I was like, "Oh, you're kidding me!"
Oh, so
There
he's
goes
playing
all our
Grand Theft
viewers.
Auto.
Yeah, there goes all our
GTA.
viewers.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, Mining King was live earlier, and then Hawk had his call-in show. So yeah, there's a lot of people that stream on Friday nights.
We'll switch it up.
Oh, you guys have seen DJ Mines. So Bo Jackson was on Hawk's stream tonight. Okay, maybe you haven't seen it. So
I don't know who
Bo Jackson is Chum Change.
Oh, okay.
Bo Jackson, that's his character on GTA. So when he called into DJ Mines stream, he was actually dressed up as Bo Jackson. Like not the football player, but his character within GTA. So his character is like, a redneck basically. He's got a red black flannel on.
Hilarious.
He's got the mullet. So he called in when sunglasses on, and he called in with like fake hair, with the mullet, with the red and black flannel. I accused him of stealing my flannel, but anyway, it was funny. It was really funny.
That is funny.
I'll have to rewatch that. Is that on? That's on DJ Mines.
No, that one was on Hawk's channel. DJ Mines hasn't gone back to doing the call-in lately. So
who's Hawk? I don't know who they are.
You don't know who Hawk Crypto is?
Hawk Crypto?
Well, check him out.
Yeah, him and DJ stream a lot together.
Yeah,
he's awesome. He's helped me.
We always love to get him to rant. It's always entertaining. Okay. It's like that's our Saturday night Misfit Mining thing. Is all about getting him to rant. We plot against him. He always says, "I'm not going to rant," and then we always manage to get him to rant about something.
It's like Joe. He says he'll never talk about helium again, and then it's
I didn't say video. I'll never talk about helium again. I'm just not dedicating time to making content for them.
Didn't we talk about it last live stream?
Yeah, we talked about it a lot because that's what the audience asked questions about, so I answered. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and spend 3 hours researching to make a video anymore.
Yep.
I kind of, I kind of
Yeah,
regret this whole last year covering it so in depth when I could have been working on other stuff, but whatever.
yeah. Well, here we are. We learned
Here we are
Yeah.
our
going to
greatest
Solana,
mistake. Oh,
and
God.
619 wants to know what we think about Hetzner kicking off 1,000 soul validators.
I just looked at that. That was actually 2 days ago. So the price, it's in line with everything else that's kind of pumping right now. But
I hadn't heard about that. So they kicked off Solana validators off of Hetzner.
yep,
Oh, I was not aware. Been a
Apparently,
little
no
busy this week.
crypto mining is allowed.
it's doing fine.
Yeah, it doesn't. The article I read said didn't have an effect on the blockchain.
It went
So
down $4. Yeah.
well, once again, even with FUD, does that? I kind of have a hard time believing that totally impacts price. But I guess some people sell off
Yeah,
when they
that's
hear
exactly
bad
it. Some
things.
people. Yeah, some people look at it and go, "Oh, that can't be good. Maybe I should sell." And some people do.
You know, I happen to think that there's a lot of like bots that trade on I'm drawing a blank for the word I want to use, the sentiment of the news, because there's certainly that in high frequency trading. I don't know if you call it high frequency trading, but there's the same players that do the actual high frequency trading do that as well, like sentiment trading. And I'm sure there are bots that, fusker through all the different feeds and just make trades based on articles and crap that's posted on Twitter and wherever else, YouTube, so on.
There's a bot service. I was following it, and I can't find the link right now, but it's just following the trends. So they might not be following the articles, but they're following, like, let's say 5 people sell like really quickly, quite a bit, and then all these bots are going to follow, and then it's just slippery slope. So very interesting. Don't know why Solana is still a cryptocurrency after everything they've done.
That's not one I got into. I mean, I think it's got potential, but man, how many times are you going to trip and fall on your face and break every bone in your face each time?
And they get back up too, and no one bats an eye.
I know.
Blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts about Helium moving to Solana?
Really?
I want to know.
Like I said, when I heard it, I thought what you guys did. I'm assuming what you guys did was just like, are you kidding? What possessed you to pick that blockchain technology? Of all the ones you probably could have picked, you picked that one, the one that everybody knows has problems. How much did they pay you? That's what I want to know.
It's a good question. And that specifically wasn't addressed in the HIP, when that's usually something that comes up for questioning. When those guys that were on one of my live streams, when they posed a Helium improvement proposal for using Hedera as an alternative, they got questioned about financial incentive and who's actually going to fund this. That didn't come up with HIP 70.
Well, I mean, you think about it. There's a financial incentive for Solana because they're going to start making money on the transactions.
Yeah, they've admitted
there's
that
a financial incentive, so there has to be some type of payment going back, I would think. Otherwise, I think it's foolish. But they should have disclosed it. I agree. I didn't know that they didn't disclose it, but they should have.
Well, they're good old boys. They go back.
Yeah, aren't they? They're buddies or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. How convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of business as usual, though. I guess you work with who you know most of the time. So, but still, no, I don't think it was a wise decision or one that was well received whatsoever.
I mean, yeah, look at the price of Helium and look at it. We'll see in a couple months.
Yeah, that's exactly. You got to see in a couple of months. Everybody's taking a hit. Have they taken more of a hit? I suppose, but it's hard to really say. Was it just part of the general downturn, or is it because of where it's at? Where it's at as a project.
I think it's a little bit of both. With their they kind of with the lower WAN stuff, they kind of just like brush it to the side very gently and just started really heavily pushing all the 5G stuff. The amount of 5G emails I'm getting from Helium is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But like their core was lower WAN. There's 600 or 700,000 miners that they're kind of useless right now. They can't.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe in the they call open 5G CBRS. It's a 4G technology, but I don't necessarily believe in it as much as I would LoRaWAN. There is certainly an incoming need that's forecasted for everything IoT. There's different vendors that, over the years, I've attended, they put on like seminars to pitch their wireless tech. Ruckus is one of them. I've been to quite a few times, and you hear, different ones in the wireless space, but we could just never find a market for it. Like, who actually needs an open 5G solution? If you want to stand up a cellular network that works, we'll see, how successful it is. That would certainly be demand, but looking from an enterprise standpoint, there's really nothing there. Looking, I'm trying to figure out why Amazon decided to get into the game, because they're doing a similar network with the same open frequencies. So maybe, but what's demand outside of standing up your own cellular network?
Earning H&T.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
No, so you can provide connectivity for other crypto projects like Demo and Hive Mapper.
Yeah, which is also buddy with Solana and Helium.
Of course.
I'm starting to think this is an awakening moment that maybe the price of Helium right now is the price that it always would have been if the hype wasn't there. Because the only reason the price kept going up is because it's my opinion. But
yeah.
Everyone's trying to get these miners. I mean, it was the same thing with GPUs and everything, but now it's like completely died out. There's still people waiting to get their miners that they purchased in 2020 and 2021, and they're commenting on my videos like, I just got my miner, why am I not making a lot?
Well, there are so many. That's the thing. Yes, okay, maybe you're not making a lot, but at the same time, where did you put the damn thing? Do you even do any kind of research to say, what is this and how does it work? If you put it in your house, in the middle of your house, and go, this thing's just going to make me money, you didn't do your research.
Exactly.
So,
but those were the people that helped pump the price, and we need those people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
we need more of them to come back. I wonder what these devices, like now I'm starting to see with all these Helium devices where people are not making anything. There's going to be a lot of repurposing with them. So that's going to be cool. And if there's a project that can come out, like Pi-Fi that is coming out right now, if they can market to all these people with all these devices that aren't making anything, next to nothing on Helium, hey, come over to our network, try our thing, and you can make more. That's huge.
619 says, and he's quoting, I just got this thing. It isn't making any money. Bro, you had a year to figure that out. And, I said that in a video, and I got all sorts of flack saying I'm a Helium lackey.
This thing, too. The GeoNet launched a... Oh, my words are not coming to my head. Yes, trade-in, yes. Where you can trade in a rack and get a GeoNet, and Helium Deploy launched a buyback program where they will buy back the price. They'll buy back the miner for the price that you set, a reasonable price. So they're getting this equipment for something. I want to know what it is. I want to know what they're
Well, I
planning
mean,
on
here's
doing.
the thing. I mean, it is a Raspberry Pi that are almost non-existent at this point.
Yep.
They're
Yeah.
just not around. And there's got to be universities clamoring for these things. So, yeah, I mean, you could, depending on which one you have, 4 gig, probably could get $130, $140 just for the Raspberry Pi in the unit.
Which is more than some of the devices they're selling on eBay because people
Right.
don't realize. New business idea. I'm quitting YouTube. I'm buying used sense caps and racks and reselling the Raspberry Pis.
It's not a bad, you can
Yeah.
buy them low enough. Yeah, that's not a bad,
And
not a
then,
bad price.
similar note, Codex has a flex mining program where with some of the Helium miners that are compatible, you can do an install of their software. It still runs Helium, but you have different options like Mysterium, Honeygain. I think they have a specific type of Flux node for that. And it's Flux or Threefold, I forget, but they have a pretty good list of programs. They're not all so profitable, but still there is that option. They containerize them with Docker, so you can run them simultaneously. You can do that with the regular Raspberry Pi. It doesn't have to be a Helium gateway, hotspot, whatever you want to call it.
And one of the things that Hawk mentioned it before, but he was so frustrated with his gold spot, and I made the suggestion. I said, you could turn it into a Flux node, and he did.
I seen
Took it out. He had
part of that video.
the gold as the 8 gigabyte memory. So yeah, he turned it into a Flux node.
I'm just gonna do that.
There you go. But it's got to be the 8 gig version. It's got to be the gold spot.
I have a sense cap 8 gig.
Oh, well, whatever. I mean, as long as it's
Yeah.
an 8 gig Pi, sure, absolutely.
Oh, that's beautiful. Just saved me money.
There you go.
Yeah, pre-search is another one. 619OT writes, yeah, my pre-search node makes more than my Helium miner.
Yeah, I actually am running a pre-search node on Flux, on my Flux node.
Cool. Very nice.
And it's actually really amazing. It's like the APR based on what I'm earning right now is like 50%. Like did the math. It was like five pre-search a day on a 4,000 pre-search node.
Is pre-search cheap?
5
cents?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I bought 4,000 pre-search at the time for $274 or something like that.
Okay, it's worth $235 right now.
Okay.
I've heard about pre-search so long.
Yeah, it's a good search engine so far.
Oh, that's the search engine one. I really like that one.
Yeah.
I stay away from things for like 2 to 3 months. Like when Strong came out, I was like, let's just see what happens, and it tanked. So.
I thought you were a big supporter of Time Wonderland.
Oh, don't get me started.
Okay, now you got to tell me what's going on here because I haven't heard this story.
Do you know about Time Wonderland?
I don't know anything about it.
I think Ohm was another one. What did they have? Ohm is a token. Olympus. They were DAOs, and essentially unreasonable. They couldn't keep up with these interest rates. I don't know why anyone thought they could have, but it was essentially you buy, and of course they launched their own native token, so this would crash. It won't really crash the network, which I appreciate. That's nice. But so you buy this token and you stake it, and you stake it for however long you want, and you get a ridiculous APY back on it. So they had a calculator in there, and with the $1,000 buy-in, I was estimated to make like over $300,000 for not doing anything. And the feeling in my head was like, this is too good to be true. But I was like, let's just see how it goes. Unfortunately for me, I bought it the day it peaked. So every single day that money became less and less and less and less. And then they decided to launch a new version of the coin where instead of it was like a redenomination of the coin. So that gave you, instead of having like $1,000 worth of Time Wonderland, then I would had like 0.001 of this other coin. And one of the benefits, the reason they got a whole bunch of people in, the incentive was if you bought, you could actually buy it at a discounted rate if you had it locked up for a certain amount of days. And the longer you had it locked up, the cheaper you could get it for. So I did that, and I made money if I were to have cashed out on the same day I bought in, but it went down as soon as I bought in.
Mhm.
So I lost $1,000 on that, or maybe about 800. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Did any of you guys see your friend Andy's video today?
Andy who?
No, he's actually called Your Friend Andy.
No.
You guys know who he is? He basically does a lot of passive income staking type of content. And one of the things he talked about in his video today was like all the mistakes not to make during a bear market. And one of the things he talked about in there was, yeah, I've made some mistakes, but if you take all my mistakes and add them together with all the things I've made money on, I've made more money on those items. So to not do anything during a bear market is worse than doing nothing. Doing nothing during a bear market is the worst thing to do than to even just try to invest some money. Because yes, some will be losers, some will be winners, but diversify, and in the end, you should win more than you lose, as long as you don't invest all your thing in micro cryptos.
Yeah.
But
don't do anything entirely stupid.
Yeah. So it was just a really interesting point. I was kind of like, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, have there been some cryptos where I've lost more money than others? Sure, but the other cryptos have more than made up for it.
Yeah, I definitely I made up for it with the amount of crypto I mined, and I saw it's like right when the bull run was starting, I saw BNB at like $75. And then the next day it was at like 110. And I'm like,
yeah,
something's about to go down here. And I bought in. Then it shot up to like 460 or something. It's very happy camper that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one time I logged into Binance. I was like, I don't remember spending this amount on BNB.
It was dirt cheap. I remember when it was like, oh man, $6 a coin, and I was burning through it. I looked at my transactions. I had like 200 BNB at one point. I would have been set.
Well, one of the things I love to do is invest in something. Obviously, it's great when it goes up, but then take the money out that I invested, the amount of money that I invested, and leave the rest just to ride. Because guess what? Not going to ever lose any money if you do that.
Exactly.
You can only win at that point.
Yeah.
And then, of course, take that amount of money and go invest in something else that you hopefully will do the same exact thing.
And then you lose track of it. And yeah, that's how it is for me, at least.
But yeah, I don't generally lose track of it. But yeah, certainly in a bear market, I'm not checking my my crypto accounts certainly anywhere near as often. I was pleasantly surprised today. I happened to look, because I got occasionally I'll get like Coinbase alerts for whatever reason. Fetch comes up on my phone. I must have done like one of their whatever learning things, and so I have a little bit of Fetch in a wallet or something, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know what I have in Coinbase right now because I don't use it. It's only the things I earned doing that, and there's such small amounts. But anyway, I always get it. It's like, oh yeah, Fetch was up like 5% today. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And then I look at it and I'm like, okay, cool. Algorand was up like 14%. That made me very happy. So yeah.
You like Algorand?
I do. I don't know too much about it, but I should say I did at one point know a little bit more about it than I know now, because when I researched, I was like, oh yeah, okay. I get that. I get that. And now I can't remember. I think it's a smart contract platform, if I remember correctly, but it's, I haven't really looked at it in quite a while. That's one of those where I just kind of let it ride.
They have a really cool,
I bought it, and then because I bought it shortly before the crash. So yeah, it's nowhere near what it was. But Algorand was one of the ones where I took a third of what I had invested and cashed it out. So I did save some of my initial investment with that one.
I like their Tiny Man platform. It's like Uniswap on Algorand. Okay. It's pretty nice, and it's like you have to interact with your phone, so it's kind of like having your own like hardware wallet. Like I think you have to scan the QR code on the screen to interact with it, which is It's nice.
That's cool.
Did you get into Planet Wasters? I didn't. I wasn't a part of that. Chris, were you in Planet Watch?
Chewy essentially held me hostage and made me buy 10 licenses one day. It was like $500 because he said that you could resell them, and I like to make money on resales. It's less work for me. And then a couple days later, I just had a bad feeling about it. I realized, like, wow, I just spent $500 on something I did no research on. Last time I did this was Time Wonderland. so I decided to reach out to them, and I was like, hey, I want to sell all of these. Like, refund me, please. And they refunded me, and they gave me more. They gave me the dollar amount, not the Planet Watch amount. So they gave me back what I invested. I sold instantly, and then Planet Watch tanked too. But I bought the Aware element for Pi-Fi, which I plan to use. The Aware thing is pretty cool. It's like a modern smoke detector, but it does everything. It's like carbon monoxide, humidity, um, temperature, time. Pretty cool little device. Really cheap right now too.
Have you guys heard of Weather XM?
Yes. Yes. That's similar with GeoNet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Joe? Yeah.
So what do you guys
Something
think
like
about those types of projects?
So I forget exactly what the utility of GeoNet is. So I believe there
I
are
think it's
some
very similar.
location based something or another. I like it, but I don't like it enough to get involved in all of them.
I think it's a difficult network, like difficult industry to get into because it's already like this data is already captured really well.
Exactly. There was another YouTuber I found, and I'm drawing a blank on what his name is, but I found him for something completely different, just randomly. Anyway, but he did a review of the Weather XM. He bought it himself and had it installed and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, I bought all this and I got into it, but it looks like a solution looking for a problem."
And that's unfortunately a lot of the projects in the space.
Exactly.
It's there's business models that didn't, are solutions or business models they didn't work out, but crypto keeps them standing for years.
My son also, my son's a meteorologist, and he's also like, okay, how are these all going to be installed? They're not going to all be installed, uniformly.
Properly.
So you're going to get different wind. You get different wind readings based on where it's actually installed. You might be catching some heat off the building. They have talked about actually taking data from other type of weather stations, and he's like, you're not going to have any. It won't be precise. Because everything will be a little bit different in their readings. He's like, you're not going to get any real data out of that. You're better off having fewer sensors that are, that match up to one another than having all these random sensors. I mean, you look at like weather data that's used for forecasting, and then you look at all the people that, you see, like when you're watching the news, you'll see that, oh yeah, it's 24 degrees up here and 23 degrees over here and all that kind of stuff. That's not any of that data is used for weather predicting. It's all just used for entertainment to say this is what the temperatures are, and of course naming people's hometowns and things like that people like to see. But none of that is used for forecasting. So I'm not a big believer in it. I don't see the problem that it solves.
Do they even have
Go ahead.
Do they even have tokens? GeoNet and WeatherXM?
I don't think WeatherXM does yet, but they're like evidently like right around the corner with it, something like that. Okay, I get updates from them every once in a while.
They've been around for 6 months at least. They popped up on my radar like right around when I started getting into Helium too, and I think projects like this, they're gonna be struggling if crypto is continuing on like a downwards trend. But
I'm very skeptical about the call it alternative mining space, but yeah, there's a lot of a lot of projects that I just don't find the use case, the utility, and even when you come across ones that solve some sort of issue, they're a solution or a product that could be forecasted as needed and widely used. The management of the team might not be there. The
True.
tokenomics model might be broken.
Hmm.
They might have unforeseen issues with how things are set up. I mean, there are just so many.
Nothing's guaranteed.
Yep.
Yeah, probably Weather Channel. Yeah, Weather Channel is owned by IBM, I think.
Yes, it is.
And then, the same people who believe in projects like these are going to tell you that, like their talking point is, what's the most watched TV station? The Weather Channel. Therefore, this must be like invaluable data that can be sold to everyone. Doesn't necessarily translate,
Well,
but so
that's
much
where,
bullshit flies in this
yeah.
space.
So my son works for the competing company, basically. So IBM bought the Weather Channel and now sells the forecasting and the presentation software that was made by the Weather Channel to TV stations around the country. The company my son works for does the exact same thing. Of course, I'm a little biased. I think they do it better, but actually, they just won the contract with Fox in Chicago.
So
They
Weather
just awarded
Underground?
about 2 weeks ago.
So Weather Underground is a competitor, right?
No,
Or is
it's
that
not Weather. It's not Weather
that's
Underground. This is an actual, like, this company doesn't do their own like website type of thing. They just sell the software and
got it.
actually deploy the hardware. They make radars. It's a company called Baron Weather. Okay, and they do have an app. My wife's over there telling me. So there is an app on iPhone, and not that I'm trying to sell their product or anything, but
Superior Weather Intelligence.
there
That's
you
a
go.
great slogan. Huh. Nice.
Max, what are your thoughts on projects like HiveMapper and Demo?
Um, I really don't know anything about them. I know I've heard you guys talk negatively last week about Demo, so that was about all I really know is kind of off the cuff, but I really don't know anything about those projects.
It's the same thing as WeatherXM and GeoNet. They're like pretty much direct competitors with just a little twist to them. And I think HiveMapper has a much bigger backing because they're pretty much backed by Solana and Helium, and Demo is kind of like on their own. They're trying. I think they have a couple medium to large size investors, but they don't have nearly the amount of capital that HiveMapper can throw into something like that. But Demo's having some like technical issues right now with basically breaking cars, having to take them to shops. I forgot about that. It was probably a good idea to make a video on that, or even talk to the people at Demo and say, "Hey, do you guys know this is happening?" But HiveMapper hasn't even launched yet. I think they're launching in 2 days, a couple days.
Yeah, I give them 50-50 at that. I mean, there is need for what they provide. There's use for it. Certain companies will want it. They may be able to provide better insight into certain, like mapping, certainly better than Google, because their footprint would be bigger than Google's
Yeah.
mapping. But, are you really going to beat out Waze or Google Maps when it comes to the analytics of traffic? Kind of hard when they're tracking everyone's phone and, reporting that at the geolocation. Whether you're running a map or not, they're, running navigation or not, they're reporting where the slowdowns are, where crashes take place. So,
Yep. Never got into using Waze. Just didn't. I don't know. Just didn't appeal to me. It was too cartoonish, I guess.
Yeah,
it works well.
It does work well, no question.
I like the cop alerts, and at one time, Google Maps and Apple Maps didn't have like speed limits on it.
Right.
So Waze I used Waze for a bit, and then they started to add all that stuff. All the alerts on Waze were really helpful.
Yeah.
Better than Google because it's also like reported real time by people, which they tell you not to text and drive, but there's hundreds of reports that I see on Waze. It's funny. You can be competing with Uber
And
drivers.
it's pretty interesting that you get these really great features on a new and upcoming product, and then the existing dominant product just copies it all.
Yeah.
I mean, any of you ever heard of Sidecar?
Yeah, I think I heard
Yeah.
of that today for the first time.
Well, no, this isn't new. This is old.
Yeah, but what is it?
Sidecar was the original Uber and Lyft. It was the first rideshare company. It had it's the way it thought was basically build it and they will come. They didn't market themselves or anything. They're just like, we're going to build the best product and people will just come to us because we have the best product. They did have the best product. They had the best features. It was great for drivers. And they didn't recruit riders anywhere near as aggressively as Uber and Lyft.
Marketing not
So
there.
just finally, you needed to get riders to get investors. Then would get you more riders. That would get you more investors. And they just didn't. They didn't do that. They believed it was all in the product that they developed. Unfortunate.
Yeah. And it can land like that for anything, any project, any company, any investment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, gents, I gotta hop off. I am going
That's
way
getting
over.
pretty late for me.
Yeah. So
I probably should get to bed as well because I'm sure I'm going to be woken up by the guy who works for me that's working tomorrow at 5 a.m. So I'll expect to get a phone call sometime between 5 and 5:30 and wake myself up tomorrow morning.
Max, I really appreciate you joining us.
Oh, it's fun. Appreciate you having me.
This was fun.
Anytime. And everyone in the audience, thanks for hanging out with us all night. We'll be sure to do it again soon. I am going live Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central.
9 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? 2 hours behind?
No.
8 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah.
8
1
p.m.
hour
Eastern.
difference. Don't forget,
I mess
this
up time
weekend, we turn our clocks back.
That is right. You're
all
correct.
right.
That was the Max public service announcement for you all.
I'm going to forget. I'll be alarmed. Why am I hungry? That's usually how it will work.
All
right, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone. I'm gonna
Take
end the
care.
stream.